Hello, wonderful world of social media. Today I am taking a look at another third-party masterpiece figure. This is my first MAKETOYS figure that I've owned. It is the ReMaster MTRM-01 Cupola, or Cupola. That's their interpretation of Headmaster's Chromedome. Thanks to the guys over at MAKETOYS for making this review possible. First impressions, wow. The box is pretty straightforward as to what we've come to expect from third parties, with some images on the back of both robot and vehicle mode, and also pictures of the Headmaster. There's also a barcode at the bottom we can scan, which takes us through to maketoys.jp. Chromedome comes packed in a nice blister card with both his guns and instruction manual, and of course his Headmaster. Very, very impressed. The detailing on him is phenomenal. Very, very nice. The only other third-party Headmaster I've ever owned was the Toy World Hardhead. And he was a bit lackluster. He was good at the time, but he really did start to show his age, so I sold him on. And when we got the announcement that MAKETOYS was making these MP-scaled Headmasters, I was extremely excited. I said to myself, yes, these will be my first MAKETOYS figures. And just look at the engineering on this. They're basically upscaled, kind of re-envisioned versions of the ones that Fans Project have done. But they've done to a very, very high standard, with a high level of detailing and a very, very good consistency of plastic. As far as scale goes, I think MAKETOYS have done a really, really good job. Considering he's a Nebulon. Nebulons are about the same size as humans, and he's just wearing that exosuit. I think they scale incredibly well. Let's just quickly cover his articulation. The arms are on a ball. They do move freely up and down. Some restrictions when moving the arm backwards due to the face on the back there. There's a hinge at the elbow. Doesn't quite go 90 degrees. There are some limitations with that movement. You've got the up and down motion. The waist does have a very small crunch section in there, but that's all part of the transformation. You've got a rotation on the thigh. Nice big forward kick. The legs will not go out to the splits position. And there is a nice bend at the knee. One thing I do really like is that the eye section here is completely covered up when it's in bot mode, and as you start to pull the legs forward, it frees up this section here to rotate backwards, then exposing the eyes. It's just nice. It's just little things like that that make all the difference. To get him transformed up into head mode, you just want to move the waist section forward and rotate the legs back on themselves. And if you see, there's a tab just inside the arm slot. That's going to tab in to there on that side. And the actual arm itself is going to tab into the back of the head. There's a tab on either side, which you just tab the fists in. And there we have Chromedome's head. And here we have him in all his glory. Now, to look at, he is stunning. He is by far the very best representation of Headmaster's Chromedome that I have ever seen. Cartoon accurate, yes, but he is not without his faults. Everybody was saying, wow, yes, what an amazing figure, best plastic quality ever. No, it's not. It's a good plastic consistency, but it's not on par with some of the likes of Fans Toys and DX9 and even the latest offerings from Bad Cube. The plastic is a little bit thinner. And these ankles, they're a mess, a complete mess. It's ridiculously loose, and he has a tendency to just keep falling forward. You have to really work his poses to work for yourself. It shouldn't be that difficult to get him to strike a decent pose. But that being said, even with the there's ball joints on these shoulders, there's the floppy ankles, even with those points, it's still a glorious figure. Honestly, am blown away with the attention to detail. It's stunning. One thing I would have liked was a working tech spec. Unfortunately, if you flip this down, that's just a tempo print on there. It doesn't change when you put the head in, but it's something they didn't really need to include. It's small things like that, like the attention to details, which really does make this stand apart from some of the other third parties. I love all the information on the side here, all the digital readings, and even the imprinting on the back of the chest plate. The guns that Chromedome come with are very reminiscent of his G1 counterparts. They're very plain and simplistic, but yet effective, and just the smallest highlights there with those blue dots really does break up that red. Unlike what we've been used to with some of the other third-party companies, they don't have a groove which slides into the hand. These actually have a kind of tongue section on the back of the guns and a whole tongue cutout on the back of the hand, so you can actually slide that completely down there, and you don't need to close the fingers up to keep the gun in location. If you choose to detach the guns from his hands, you can just flip the section over and just place those on the roof mount, and they can just be stored out of the back, out of sight, out of mind. Let's take a look at the articulation. The head can rotate quite freely, and it's on a tilt, and it goes one way. If you unplug the head, turn it around, plug it in again, it then gives you the tilt downwards. It's a bit of an odd setup, again, same as what Fans Project offered, but I think it works. He's quite a tall figure, so there aren't many he's going to be looking up towards, maybe Fort Max, but it works nonetheless. The shoulders, there's a ball socket just in here, which gives us a free range of motion like so. The ball is actually on a rocker, so you can rock it forwards and backwards. And then there's a separate hinge, which allows the upward motion. But like you can see there, it's not the tightest of joints. This one's not so bad this side. There is an upper bicep swivel, and there's an elbow joint. The elbow itself feels like it should be a double jointed elbow, but it's not. It's just a single joint. It feels like there should be a hinge here as well, just to knock that up just an extra notch. The hands rotate quite freely, and the fingers are all on a single pin, and the thumb is static. The waist, you do have some nice rotation there, somewhat hindered by the back kibble, but that can just be moved out of the way to get some really nice poses. The crotch plates are fixed in that position, so you do have limitations on the forward motion and limitations on the back motion. Now you can rotate these wheels around just to give you that little bit of extra range. The splits, yeah, that's next to none. You do have an ratchet on the upper thigh. That was a nice touch. I was expecting just a normal swivel in there, but a nice ratchet in there really does work. The knees are a die cast joint, and we get a good 90-degree bend off those. And the feet. The feet. We get forwards and backwards. It's just a mess. We get ankle tilt, but it's just as soon as there's pressure applied on this, that joint really does just flop around. This toe section is on a ball. This is what causes the problem. It doesn't lock into anything, and it constantly falls off that socket. I'll repeat it again though, faults aside, it's a glorious figure. It looks absolutely stunning, and I can overlook those problems with the joints, but for a $100 plus toy, should we really be having to overlook those joint problems? Here he is with some of the others from the Season 3 and Season 4 Autobot team. He really does look good with them. Yes, he's going to need a little badge on there, but they've done an amazing job with the aesthetics. Now to get Chromedome transformed up, we need to remove the head, and for safety I'm going to remove the weapons as well. Starting with the back of the legs, you want to just move this section on the back here round. And if we pull down the base of the foot, this grey hinge here is going to rotate. And as we rotate that round, this slots into this gap here. And there's a tab here which tabs into the back of the brown section. Like so, securing that into place. We now have a tab on this leg and on this leg. And a tab here and here. They're all going to tab together until they click. So that one goes in, and then click these two together. Like so. If the wheels are forward, just rotate them backwards. And then this hinge here just needs to unplug and lift that section up like so. Just untab these brown sections, this side and this side, which allows us to pull this whole front section forwards. And then we'll just make sure that this windscreen section is just up out of the way for now. And then we can just rotate this one round and rotate this one round. These brown tabs are just tabbed into the grey section at the back here. Just untab that, and that's on a rocking hinge. So you want to rock that hinge down like so, and that now frees up this entire section on top here. With this hinge tilted backwards, you want to rotate this entire back section all the way around like so. And then there's a tab on here and a tab on here, and they're just going to tab in like so. Collapse the arms, and as you do so, it pops the fist out. Just turn that round, rotate it 180, and flip that to the back of the arm. Open up this section here and just rotate that round, making sure it's clear of this section. Flip open these arm sections underneath. And this metal hinge here is actually attached by a peg. You want to just pop the peg off, and this whole section here is going to flip round, and that's going to rotate as these legs are coming down. Just flip open these back spoiler sections, and that allows the hands to go in there and locate in there fully. You may have to just fiddle around a little bit just to make sure that hinge is completely flat. So then you can bring this section back over, that's going to tab in through there, and then the white tab here is going to just tab into that hinge. Plug these sides in, you've got a tab there, and another tab just fits underneath the lid there. Like so. Rotate that ball joint on the underside of the car that formed part of the foot, just rotate that around, and that's going to peg in to the back side of the hand. Like so. Flip these sections round so this tab is on the outside, and then just wiggle these sections apart. Then rotate this section forwards. That's now all going to tab together. You've got these tabs just on the underside here. They're going to tab in to the bonnet. Everything's a very, very tight fit on here. Slide the crotch plate up and onto the front. Again, that just tabs in. And bring these front sections round and in like so. And here he is, fully transformed into his vehicle mode. As somebody rightly pointed out on Facebook, it does look like the Inspector Gadget car, doesn't it? Oh, that's all I can see now. It does roll, and MAKETOYS were blessed enough to give us rubber wheels. That's something third parties just don't give us. In fact, I don't think anybody gives us rubber wheels anymore. We occasionally get them with some of the Masterpiece figures, but it's just a simple little thing, and it does make all the difference. Lovely gold rims there as well. I love how this section, which was the chest of Chromedome, doubles up, and if you flip that open, the display now kind of looks a bit like some engine bay work there. This housing section on the back here, we can store the guns on there. They can peg in like so, both of them goes in. Or if you want it higher up, like I had it when it was a backpack, that just folds up, pegs in, and you can have the guns higher on top there. If we flip open the windscreen compartment, we have Stylor in there. Unfortunately, to get these guys in, you have to just have him kind of bent up with his knees bent. But he does look really, really nice in there. He does look like he's driving, and the humans do fit nicely in the second seat. I love how this section here as well looks very, very car-like, and it does look like parts of the engine. Overall, the general aesthetic, look and feel of the alt mode are very, very true to that of the G1 likeness. It also seems to hold together a lot better in alt mode as well. Yes, the plastic is obviously still the same consistency, but I think because it's so compressed and everything pegs in, there's so many tabs on this, it just feels really, really firm and secure. It's a fantastic alt mode. Size-wise, he is a fair bit bigger than your average Masterpiece car, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The Masterpiece cars do scale well with the humans, and we've already seen that humans do scale well with the Nebulans, so maybe it's just a rather large Nebulan vehicle. Who's to say they are the same size as Earthbound cars? And for those looking for a Chromedome for your Combiner Wars Generations line, I don't think this is the right toy for you. The Chromedome, which was a repaint of Wheeljack, I believe it was, the Transformers Prime Wheeljack. That's probably the one you want. That's a fantastic looking figure, it really, really is. It fit in a lot better with the Generations aesthetics. So, all in all, my final thoughts are the bot mode is gorgeous, the alt mode is phenomenal. Now, there was problems with the feet and the posability. He's not as agile as some of the other Masterpiece figures on the market, but he is a very, very good figure. And for the price, I think you are getting a real Masterpiece Headmaster. I honestly cannot wait for them to release more in the line. I believe it's Hard Head next, and I'm extremely excited about it. In fact, I'm excited about all of their Masterpiece figures. They teased the prototypes of Inferno, and he looks insanely good. Absolutely outstanding. Thanks again to the guys over at MAKETOYS for making this review possible, and until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.